If you're a woman and you're a beginner and you want a strong core, then these are the 3 best beginner core exercises for women. Today I'm going to share with you the 3 best beginner core exercises for women. And the reason why I chose 3 is because your core moves your torso in 3 different ways. So the first way is forward and backward, like this. So this frontal movement, forward and backward. The second is stabilizing your body against lateral movement, side to side movement. And the third is stabilizing your body against rotational movement. And each one of these core exercises is going to be focusing on one of those aspects of developing a strong core. And I'll also show you 2 variations of each move to make sure you got the right beginner variation for you. So let's dive into the first range of motion. Okay, for the first move, you can lay down on the floor, even on the couch, or in bed if that's more comfortable. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by driving our fingertips away from our ears and turning our palms toward the sky. You can rest your head on the ground, or you can put a pillow under your head, or if you want, you can just think long through the top of your head and hold it slightly off the ground. From there, bring both of your knees up towards your chest and press your lower back into the ground. The entire time, your lower back should be pressed into the ground. If at any point you start to feel your lower back is lifting off the ground like this, then you've gone too far. You should rest and start over once your muscles have recovered. Now, from this position, the first variation I want to teach you is simply alternating heel taps. So by pressing the lower back in the ground, activating the core, and then coming down and tapping the heel, alternating sides, we get to practice strengthening the core in a unilateral fashion in this front, forward, and back movement pattern that we talked about. And what we want to do is inhale as we drop the heel down, exhale as we bring the knee up, and if we want to at the top, we can bring the knee as close to our body as we can, creating a little bit of compression inside the core, working these muscles a little bit harder. Now from there, if that's too easy for you, meaning you can do this for around 60 seconds without fatiguing too much, you can bring your feet together and you can come down and tap your heels, then bring your knees up at the same time. This is going to make it a little bit more difficult because both of your legs are coming down towards the ground at the same time. But again, remember to push your lower back into the ground the entire time. Your goal should be able to do this for 3 rounds of 60 seconds with perfect form, keeping the lower back pressed to the ground the entire time, and then you can go on to the next movement where we're going to work the sides of the body. Okay, now that we've worked the front of the body, let's work the side with a simple move called the kneeling side plank. So how we're going to do this move is we're going to stack our knees on top of each other like this. We're going to bring our hips, our knees, and our shoulders into one line. And at first we can start by doing this on our hand, which is going to help make this a little bit easier for you. What we're going to do is lift the hips, come into that straight line from knees, hips, all the way through the shoulder, and hold this side plank position while we feel the muscles of our core on the bottom side working to stabilize us in this position. Now, if you don't feel those muscles firing too much, you can try a couple things. First, instead of pushing your hand up like this, so you're putting your hand on the ground and you're pressing up with your shoulder, which actually takes away from the core contraction and puts more contraction on your shoulder, your neck, and your trap, try dragging your hand back towards your knees. You won't actually move, but all we're trying to do is create tension like this, and you should feel the muscles in the armpit and the muscles on the sides of your core fire significantly harder. So it looks like this. This is me pushing up with my fingers. This is me pulling down with my fingers. The movement looks virtually the same, but I'm generating a ton of tension right now, again, in my armpit, all the way down into my core, which makes this movement a lot more challenging, but also a lot more effective. Now, if your wrist hurts, you can also do this by placing your elbow on the ground, ideally turning your palm towards the sky, and then in this position, doing the same thing, dragging the elbow towards your hip, creating more tension on the sides of your body, and holding. Now, if you can hold this for 60 seconds on each side, with good form while maintaining that tension the entire time, you can also spread the knees and get the hip muscles into this as well. That can be really helpful for not just strengthening the sides of the body, but also strengthening the hips in a really important range of motion, which will eventually strengthen your core even more at the same time. Now, once you're able to hold this for 3 rounds of 1 minute on each side, using the variation that felt like the right fit for you, then you can try the last movement I'm going to teach you today. For the final movement, we're going to work on stabilizing the core in a rotational pattern. And this is one of my favorite movements. It's really quite simple. You're going to start with your hands on a chair with your fingertips pointed out like this and your hands on the edge of the chair. Make sure your hands don't slip off, but this is a great way to minimize the flexibility required on your wrists by putting your hands out here. From that, you're going to come into a plank position like this. And what we mean by plank position is we don't want the butt to stick up like this. and we also don't want the butt to stick down like this and arch the lower back. We want to squeeze the glutes and press the lower back up towards the sky, activating the core. Now in this position, we're going to march in place, bringing one knee up and the other knee up, back and forth. And if we can do this for 60 seconds, you're going to feel the core working in all kinds of strange ways. Now, just like the last movement, instead of pushing up with your arms like this on the chair or on the surface, you also want to pull backwards with your arms like this to activate all the muscles of your core significantly harder. So instead of pushing up, pull down, and immediately this movement becomes significantly more challenging and more effective and more safe at the same time. Now, if you can do this for 60 full seconds, then an easy way to scale this up is come down to the floor, resume your plank position, and do your marching on the floor like this instead of by using a low chair. And if you need to make it significantly easier, then all you can do is turn a chair around or use a countertop and put your hands on a higher surface to make it a little bit easier. Again, the goal is to be able to do this for 3 rounds of 1 minute each. Okay, if you want to put this all together into a simple workout routine that'll last you about 10 to 15 minutes, then here's how you can do that. First, start by doing 1 minute of the leg raise variation that felt like the right fit for you. Rest for a few seconds after that, then go to the side plank on the left side, hold for another minute, and then go to the side plank on the right side, hold for another minute, and finally finish with the plank marches. Now from there, rest as long as you need to, and do that 2 more times around for a total of 3 rounds. If you do this routine consistently, 2 or 3 days a week for just a few weeks, you'll notice a significant difference in your core strength, and your body will feel so much better. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you want more awesome videos just like this. Otherwise, if you want to unpack that leg raise more and see more levels that might challenge you even more, then all you got to do is watch this video right here. And if you want workouts that give you the best core exercises for your body, individualized by the level that you need to gain strength, flexibility, balance, and coordination, then you got to try WeShape. It's our all-in-one fitness app that helps you feel better in your body. Just click the link below and you can try it out for free.